Good morning, everybody. It's a dog in the kennel here on a September 24th, 2012. Another edition of Weber on Sports here on FingerLakes1.com Sports. We certainly hope that you had a great weekend. We all know one thing, the new season is upon us, and it's a little chilly in the morning. It was so chilly we didn't play golf on Sunday because it was a little bit nippy. Well, I hope you all had a nice weekend, and here we go. We're going to talk about a multitude of subjects. We'll be hammering Doug Marrone, the librarian. We'll be going through the schedule of SU and looking at what they are facing. The situation, could it be another year without a bowl bid? We'll get to that in just a minute. But we opened the show this morning on a young man that we've had the opportunity, myself and Jim, to watch play basketball, a phenomenal player. Shane Sweeney of Geneva High, same school that my granddaughter goes to. Isabel, Shane Sweeney set a Section 5 record against Midlakes as Geneva High keeps on motoring in football. Shane threw 8 touchdown passes, a Section 5 record. They weren't very good visitors. That was Midlakes' homecoming on Friday night, and Geneva steamrolled poor Midlakes. But again, Shane Sweeney, we open up the show with giving kudos to this young man for a phenomenal achievement, throwing 8 touchdown passes for Geneva High. Congratulations, Shane, from all of us here at FingerLakes1.com Sports. Well, we're back to square one again with the librarian. It's well chronicled. I know Jimmy's a graduate and he's producing this show. Whether or not he considered throwing a rock through a TV screen when he watched the game down at Reds, because it was the Big Ten network. If you didn't go to a bar that had the Big Ten, you had to pay for it. I listened to part of the game on the radio. Well, let's be honest. You know I'm not a Marrone fan. I've been saying, yo, Marrone must go. Guess what? I still believe it. I'm convinced he's not the answer. I've been saying that for 2 years. It isn't like this is a surprise on my part. Now, all of you Syracuse Nation fans, I'm going to ask you a question, including Jim. At this point of the season for 2012, did you think you'd be 1-3? I'll tell you the answer. I'll speak for all you Syracuse Nation. No. Because I would bet 99% of the Syracuse faithful, including Kenny's two pennies, would have thought you'd be 3-1. I think most Syracuse sports fans who follow football and love that football team and stay with them through the grittiness of losses and wins, not many wins, I would think you would expect to lose to Southern Cal, even though, as Marrone pointed out, you covered the spread. 27 points, you lose by 13. But I would say that 99% of the Orange faithful would have expected you to beat Northwestern at home, Stony Brook, and a very weak, feeble Gopher team called Minnesota this past weekend. Am I correct? I think I am. You may be not agreeing with me, but I know if you deep down look in your soul, you know that you should be 3-1 with a loss to Southern Cal. So where are you? You're 1 up, you're 3 down. You didn't make a bowl game last year as you collapsed, lost 5 straight. I did something over the weekend to prepare for my commentary on Marrone and Syracuse. And I'm going to do some math, and we're going to look at the upcoming schedule. You're 1-3. You need 6 wins to become bowl eligible. Let's take a look at the schedule, and let me tell you who I have given you wins against and who I think you may lose to. You may agree, you may disagree, but let's have fun, can't we? 1 up, 3 down, you need 5 more wins. Keep the number 5 in the back of your mind. You're off this week, then you have Pittsburgh on a Friday night game a week from this Friday, okay? I have that as a W for you. Pittsburgh had a lousy start, and they looked very impressive in their last game. But I got a hunch you could win that game on Friday night, a week from this coming Friday. So that gives you 2 W's. Are you following me? Then you go and travel to New Jersey and take on Rutgers. I do not give you that win. Rutgers, by the way, has cracked the top 25 for a million years. They finally made the top 25. They're playing great football. They went in Arkansas, who's having a horrible year, and defeated Arkansas by 8 points. They were 9-point underdogs. They won by 8. Rutgers is for real. I have that as a loss for Syracuse. So you still are at 2 wins. I've only given you Pittsburgh so far. Then you get Connecticut at home. Connecticut has owned you the last couple of years in football. I'm giving you that as a win. That game is at home at the Dome. So that makes you 3 wins. Then you get your suitcases all packed up because you're going to go back-to-back travel games. South Florida's been an up-and-down team. They got some good material, they just haven't flourished yet. But you're playing them in Florida. I have that as a loss for Syracuse. You come home, you pack your bags again, then you head out to Cincinnati. I have that as a loss for Syracuse. So now you're still at 3 wins. You need 3 more. Now you come back home and take on 18th ranked Louisville. At present, they're ranked 18th in the country. They're a fine team. I think they were picked to win the Big East. I am giving you a shocking win against Louisville at home. Don't know why, but I'm giving it to you. So now we're at 4 wins for Syracuse. Then you travel and take on Mizzou, Missouri. Up and down team, but you got them on the road in Missouri. I don't like your chances. I have that as a loss. Then you come away, you go away to Shirley Temple. You play them on the road. I got that as a win. So you got 1 win right now. I give you wins against Pittsburgh, Connecticut, Louisville, which I don't know why I'm giving you the win, but I am, and I give you Temple. 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes you 5 wins. You need 1 more. Where are you going to get that other win from? So let's do the math. Let's look at the schedule, which I've just done. You tell me as an SU Nation lover and an SU football Marrone supporter where you're going to get 5 wins, where you're going to get that extra W. Time will tell. Could you surprise South Florida? Yes. Could you surprise Cincinnati? Yes. Could you beat Rutgers? I don't think so. Rutgers is for real, but that's my opinion. So my point is, ladies and gentlemen, you're sitting at 1-3. You got to win 5 of the next 8 to become eligible. They didn't make a bowl game last year as they imploded. And here we go again as I laid my head on the pillow last night, and I was thinking of reading the Post-Standard as I do every morning, and I was thinking, what are we going to hear from the yarn spinner Marrone this time? We're going to hear the same thing. Big headline, Marrone to players. Rule out, zone out the negativity of the community and the media, which is yours truly. Don't listen to all the negativity. He goes on to say, we will work on the issues. He says that every week after a loss. He goes on to say, when we get these issues resolved, we will be a better football team and we will win a lot of games. Ladies and gentlemen, my wife knits sweaters, hats, shirts. She does it all. Vests. She's a great knitter. Great knitter. My point is, are we spinning yarn here? It's the same old, same old. After a loss, Doogie Marrone, the librarian, yo, Marrone must go, says the same thing. We're going to work on the issues. When are they going to be resolved? This Syracuse team has 4 turnovers, 9 penalties, gets beat by a feeble Gopher team. A team on the rise should have beat the Gophers. I'm sorry. They're not that good. And we all know Northwestern's not that good. You scored 41 and you lose to 42. And then you're trailing Stony Brook at halftime. Come on. Give a reality check, SU football fans. Doogie Marrone is spinning yarn. He's been spinning it and spinning it and spinning it. Jim will agree with me. This is his 4th year. When are we going to see a turnabout? Nesbitt is in his final year at quarterback. He's not coming back. He's one of the best passers, percentage-wise and yardage-wise, in the country. What are you going to do next year when you don't have this kid? My point is, enough already. Yo, Marrone must go. It's not going to happen. I know that's not going to happen. You know why it's not going to happen? Because Dr. Dale Gross, who's got a perfect name, because the guy is gross, is not going to fire Marrone because he brought him in. Rod Verke, my good friend, argues the fact that it's great for Syracuse to have a Syracuse alum coaching a team. I don't think so. Bring a Pope in. Bring a nun in. Bring somebody in to excite this program. Enough already. Stop the spinning of the yarn. And even if you're a diehard SU football fan, I know you may not like Weber's comments every week, but get a reality check. Look in the mirror. Wonder where your program is going. It's going south, and it's going south in a hurry. And you got to scramble to get your 6 wins this year. Let's move on. Notre Dame, first time in 6 years they made the top 10 in the world of college football. Their offense needs a lot to be worked on. Reese and the other kid, not great, Defensively, they look pretty good. They're opportunistic. They seem to tackle. They got a lot more quickness than I'm used to seeing. They got work on their offense, though. And this Denard Robinson kid from Michigan, they got this kid ballyhooed like he's some sensational quarterback. Not. He didn't impress me one bit watching that game the other night. So Notre Dame, first time they cracked the top 10 in 6 years, and they got a chance. They have an outside chance to run the table and be a factor, believe it or not, in the national championship talk. It's weird, but they have a shot. Hobart football, let's give kudos out to the Statesmen. They knock off Merchant Marine over the weekend. Congratulations. They continue to be undefeated. Way to go, Hobart. Well, the NFL rundown. The G-Men, how about them a few days ago? Actually, last week. Tommy Coughlin goes into Carolina. They had a few people out, key people out. Not to worry. Tommy took it to them big time, 36-7, stampeding the Carolina Panthers. Never a contest. The G-Men looked awesome. How about New England? How many of you out there would say they'd be 1-2 after 3? Next up, in Buffalo this coming Sunday, New England loses at the buzzer last night against the Baltimore Ravens. How about Weber's Raiders? Finally, the Raiders did something to knock off Pittsburgh. At a wild game, as the Raiders knock off Pittsburgh, Shock City. Atlanta goes into San Diego, destroys the Chargers. Once again, the Chargers rap has been always underachieving. This year doesn't look like any different. Tonight, the Packers take on Seattle. Should be a good ball game. Don't dismiss Seattle. They got some game. And you know, there's a lot of discussion, a lot of coaches going ballistic on the sidelines regarding replacement officials and how good or how bad these guys are. You know what? I just don't understand why the NFL doesn't open up the piggy bank and pay the regular officials to bring them back. It's certainly hurting their credibility. It really is. With all due respect, I don't think they're as bad as the people have got them made out to be. They're not great. They can't keep up with the speed of the game. They are indecisive on making calls. I got to agree. It would seem to me the NFL owners and Roger Goodell would come to some sort of agreement. I don't expect them to give them Fort Knox, but let's make a deal and get the regular officials back on the field. It certainly hurts the credibility of the NFL. I say that, but as Jim Senecropi knows full well, since he tracks the data coming into his network, fingerlakes1.com, the ratings for NFL still are skyrocketing. They still have a lot of zillions of people watching them weekly, nightly. Tonight's game will be watched by millions of people. It's hard to say bring them back when the NFL is just lavishing themselves into money. But it certainly would help the program if they could bring the regular guys back. Let's go to the world of racing. Yes, we are. New Hampshire winner, the second race of the chase, Denny Hamlin, the 11 FedEx car, winning in New Hampshire. Denny Hamlin. And I talked to my good friend Bob Oman this morning. Him and Leslie, the Omans, I pick on them all the time, being big Danica Patrick fans. She ran in the nationwide, the minor leagues of racing over the weekend. She finished a meager 14th. She either finishes 14th or 26th. She finished 14th in the minor leagues this past weekend. This is Weber on Sports. On a Monday, hope you had a great weekend, everybody. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to review all the fine sponsors that make this show possible, and then we'll be right back with more. Welcome back, everybody. It's a dog in a kennel with another edition of Weber on Sports. Hey, I don't know, I don't want to give credit to that worthless Bud Selig for coming up with a second wild card, but I maybe have to give him a little bit of credit. I've been wanting him out of that office for years. But this second wild card, they're going down the stretch with, 10 or 12 games left in the regular season. They play $1.62. Well, all you Yankee fans, and I got to say kudos to the Orioles. And by the way, one thing that I picked up on, I don't think a lot of sports fans have talked about it. I was at a bar the other night having a drink and a sandwich up in Geneva. They were talking, this kid was an Orioles fan. He was talking about his Orioles hanging on for dear life, and they're playing great. But nobody brings up the fact that they got hurt by the loss of Markakis, one of their best players, if not their best all-around player on the team. CeCe Sabathian nailed him in the wrist about a week and a half ago, and he's out for the season. So the Orioles are doing this, clinging to the Yankees' pinstripes without their best player. You could argue the fact that Markakis is their best player, and he's nowhere to be seen. He's out. See ya. That's even more amazing. The Orioles are staying step by step. Well, the Yankees finally lost on Sunday, 5-4 to Oakland. Oakland wins one of the three games. And Baltimore finally loses to the Boston Red Sox, who finally show a little bit of pride with a small P. So as we start a new week, the key element, as I keep reminding you, is the loss column. The Yankees have a one-game advantage in the all-important loss column. The Yankees have 10 to go, so does Baltimore. Baltimore plays a day-night doubleheader today, as Toronto will visit them for a day-night twin bill. The Yankees go to Minnesota for a three-game set. They're on the road. They'll be shown on Channel 47 on the Yes Network at 7 o'clock. So down the stretch we go, but the Yankees have that all-important one-game lead, which could prove pivotal with 10 to go. And I was thinking about something. I saw it on Network, and I wanted to pass it along to my viewers. Maybe you're not aware of this. Last week when the Yankees beat Toronto, after they had a rainout, they had to play a day-night doubleheader the next day. The Yankees did that doubleheader, playing Toronto, and the Yankees swept them 4-2 in the first game, 2-1 in the second game. Why do I bring that up? Well, let me go back to 1997. You got to go back to 1997. 15 years, folks. The last time the Yankees swept a doubleheader and did not hit a home run. That's how many years you have to go back to. Against the Boston Red Sox. Coincidence? Let me give you some other little verbs. In 97 against the Red Sox, where they did not have a home run, the Yankees scored 6 runs in the 2 games. Against Toronto last week, how many did they score? 6 runs. How many did Toronto score? They scored 3. How many did Boston score in 1997? They scored 3. Derek Jeter sat out one of the 2 games against Toronto last week. In 1997, guess what? Derek Jeter sat out one of the 2 games against Boston. Let's continue. Mariano Rivera, who is a first ballot Hall of Famer, was just getting his career underway, saved both of those games in 1997. In 2012, the new save king, Rafael Soriano, he saved both games a week ago against Toronto. Coincidence? Weird? Twilight material? Rod Serling? You figure it out. And to my buddies Mike Cotillo and to Billy Owen, Pittsburgh Pirates fans, Pittsburgh. 22 years in a row, this horrible franchise has had a losing record. About 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, I never could possibly imagine bringing up a topic of Pittsburgh making that 23 years in a row. Because they were, 10 or 12 games over 500? Well, as we begin the count down the stretch, this goes out to Cotillo and to Billy Owen. Their record, 75 up, 77 down. Could it happen? Could we have 23 years in a row for a franchise for losing records? Oh, please, let it happen. Come on, Pittsburgh. For them to do it, they've got to win 7 out of 10. The bad news is for them to do it again is they got the Mutts, that horrible franchise that they visit for a 3-game set starting tonight. Oh, I would love to see the Pirates not do it again. I would love to see the 23 years in a row with a losing record. My only bad news is they got the Mutts 3 straight, and you know about those Mutts. Speaking of the Mutts, I hear they have a new sign in front of Citi Field. The New York City Department of Health has put up a sign. Attending a Mets game is dangerous to your health. I mean, they've won a couple games over the weekend. Who cares? They're playing the worthless Miami Marlins. That's a horrible franchise. What have they won, 63 games? Are they going to lose 100? Do you think the Wilpons might sit down there with a cash drawer and maybe get a whole bunch of $100 bills and just give people their money back, having to go and see that worthless circus Really, do you think that's possible? No, it isn't possible, but I thought I'd bring it up anyways. Because to have to undergo watching those worthless Mets, I don't know about you folks, but you got to go ballistic. Being a Mets fan, it's got to be a sad day in hell. And my good friend Charlie Lee up there, Deluxe Restaurant fame, he's been a diehard Mets fan. Charlie, go in the kitchen, get away from TV sets, stop watching the Mets, follow some other team, please. Well, let's go to the Tour Championship in the world of golf. Well, last year, Billy Haas won the $11.5 million, $10 million for winning the FedEx, and $1.5 million for winning the Tour Championship. Well, it happened again. Yesterday, Brent Snedeker, who got selected to play in the Ryder Cup, coming up at the Medina Country Club this coming Friday, the Ryder Cup. Brent Snedeker wins $11.5 million. $10 million for the FedEx, $1.5 million for the Tour Championship. McIlroy was off, couldn't find a fairway. Tiger was never a factor. And now, of course, the Europeans and the Americans prime themselves for yet another renewal of the famous Ryder Cup, Medina Country Club, Chicago, Illinois. It'll be interesting to see how the fans of Chicago greet Luke Donald, who lives in Chicago. Of course, Luke playing for the Europeans. You know, the Americans used to own this Ryder Cup. It was domination with a capital D. It's changed dramatically since they allow all of Europe to play for their side. And you have to wonder, is it another year for the Europeans? Both teams are stacked. Well, here I go again. I'm going to pick the USA. USA, USA. You know what happens when I pick somebody, don't you? It could go the other way. But I got a hunch the USA deserves finally to get that Ryder Cup back in their hands. Well, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget we have a special FingerLakes1.com sports broadcast, as we will be broadcasting live a week from this coming Saturday, the third annual Miners Academy Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony at the beautiful New York Chiropractic College. I'll be there doing some pre-event interviews. Jimmy Centercopi, our producer and owner of Finger Lakes One, will be down there setting up all the equipment to showcase and to show you the complete ceremony when they begin that. So we'll be doing some interviews prior to that, some of the past recipients of getting into the Hall of Fame at Miners, and then, of course, during the ceremony, Jimmy will be beaming it over at FingerLakes1.com. So the beauty of this is, if you're checking us out and you have a relative that's been being inducted this year, and you have cousins and aunts and uncles that live outside of Seneca Falls, maybe out west or in the Midwest, we'd love to have them come, but if they can't, FingerLakes1.com. We'll have more details as Jimmy gets closer and closer, putting all the finishing touches on this as far as actual airtime here on FingerLakes1.com. We're excited to be there at the New York Chiropractic College coming up a week from this Saturday night, October the 6th. The Doug and Paulie Show will kick off again this Wednesday. My buddy Paul is out of town. He's on a vacation. But we've got yours truly and Jimmy will be doing the show. And also, we have a new bulletin. Talked to Bob Oman. Chris Ebright, the head coach of the Newark Pilots, will not be coming back next year. He's going to locate with his wife closer to their home. And we have a new gentleman, Mike Armstrong, who is a pupil of the fantastic, world-renowned Ithaca baseball program under the tutelage of my good friend, Minders graduate, George Valesini, who's been there for over 40-some years. Mike Armstrong will be the new head coach of the Newark Pilots in 2013. He'll be our special guest this coming Wednesday via phone here on the Doug and Paulie Show when we open up around 9 o'clock this coming Wednesday. Well, folks, as usual, it's always been a slice bringing this show to you. We hope that you'll join us Wednesday for the Doug and Paulie. Take care, everybody. Yo, yo, yo. Marrone must go. That's a look at sports my way.